Hi, Rowan.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me. Shall we take a stroll around the lake? So how are you today? You good?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Yes, I'm good, thank you. So I don't know, well, just a bit about me. So I'm Craig, pronouns are he, him. I'm the co-chair of the LGBTQIA Staff Network.
Yeah.
Is my volunteering role at the university, so my salaried role is something completely different. So tell me a bit about yourself, Rowan, and how you identify and your experience within, because you were already at the university, aren't you now?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
So tell me a bit about yourself.
First year at university now, my pronouns are they, it, so either or, no preference on whichever's used.
Yep, and we'll go into like pronouns in a little bit.
I'm from quite a little town, so it's nice being in a city
Okay.
and having more to do than back at home. It's weird that shops are open a lot later as well. Is one of the weirdest things I've had to get used to. But it's been really good meeting new people.
Oh, good stuff. And are you finding it's more diverse, or is it
definitely more diverse?
Differently accepting, or
the town I'm from is quite conservative, so it's nice being a lot more open, and there's so many different types of people here. It's really good, so I'm enjoying it. I mean, within terms of like the LGBTQ plus community, everyone that I've met and sort of come out to so far has been lovely.
Yep.
And in doing so, you actually get quite a lot of people also coming out to you,
Oh,
the other way around too. But I've not had anything negative.
And with that, has it been a surprise? Because so far, I was like a camp man, quite effeminate. People go, "Oh, he's gay." So
yeah.
So in a visual sense, so how you identify?
Yeah.
So is agender, is that?
Agender,
okay.
yeah. Or non-binary, either work.
I mean, do you get a different approach of the way you look because you've got long hair, that kind of
a lot of
feminine,
people do assume that because I present more femininely that I am just like she, her.
Okay.
Sort
and
of.
So it's that kind of thing. Does that make it different or easier, or has that changed
over time? It makes it a little bit more difficult because people do just assume from the get-go how you identify.
Yeah.
Having to actually make that step to come out to people, it's like if you don't do it the first time that you meet them, it's then a little bit awkward doing it further on.
Yeah.
But it sort of just has to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me too much. I know some people it does bother a lot, but it's never something that's upset me too much.
Okay, so you're obviously quite, you're confident in who you are, and
I'm aware that I present more femininely, and I know that because I'm non-binary, I don't owe people androgyny. Yeah. Despite identifying, I suppose, in an androgynous way. Yeah. But so I am fairly confident in who I am.
Oh, that's good. And have you always been like that as a child or growing up, or has there been something that's always?
Yeah, I mean, I was labelled as a tomboy as a kid, so it's always been. I've never felt that I have to be a certain way to fit in. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's been really accepting that I have come out to so far. Yeah, not had any issues.
With the pronoun it, they, I mean, have you always gone by use the it, or has it changed over the course of your life so far?
It's definitely changed. I was non-binary, so just using they, them for a little over a year now, I suppose. I think that's about right. And then...
So what was it? Where did the it come from? Because I mean,
over the summer I met someone who uses just it's pronouns, and then since talking to them about their experiences and everything going on with using that as a pronoun, it's sort of, I think it's stuck in my mind without me actually realising. Yeah. And then more recently I thought, why not try it? Yeah. See what it goes like.
And how does it get perceived when you introduce your pronouns?
There's a lot of, I think people don't really want to bring it up because it's a neopronoun and lesser known. People don't want to ask questions in case it comes across as the wrong way. Yeah. Which really, I wish people would ask more questions because it's never...
It's the fear of getting it wrong.
Yeah, it's the fear of getting it wrong that people do tend to just stick to using they, them because that's already in your mind. Yeah. That's easier to use. But people don't want to ask questions in case they're going to ask the wrong sort of questions, I think. But I do wish people would just ask more questions because every time I have a conversation like this, it's eye-opening to me as well. And it's important that other people do just learn how to use those pronouns as well and people's experiences.
I guess because it's always that thing of, I mean, we're all, our community is changing. I think it's that willingness to say, actually, I might make a mistake, I'll apologise, but I want to learn and fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's those conversations, and I think some people, they get to a point where they go, well, it makes no sense to me, I'm not going to use them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it sort of does. I get why people find it a bit objectifying almost.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of the part of it that I like about it.
And
it is still quite new to me.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've used a lot. So I am sort of still getting used to other people referring to me by it. But every time someone does, you get like a little bit of a rush of like, it feels really nice that it has been used. There are a couple of friends that, you know, like assigned female at birth and are now male.
Yeah.
They've dealt with more issues because it was during high school that they were making those transitions.
Right.
I feel like I escaped it because it was later on that I've then changed how I identify, so it's been easier because I was at college and then university to actually make that change, because people tend to get a lot more accepting.
Yeah.
But certainly people's high school experiences haven't been the best from what I've heard before. Now I know it's harder there. I've never really had to worry personally about making those changes. It's always been really easy to come out to
and
people.
It's felt like the natural progression.
Because I know they'll always be accepting. But
the younger generation are the ones that are really sort of adapting and taking on these changes and embracing everything. So it's kind of like really, it's just that whole bullying sort of mechanism of that school system, isn't it? That's just there.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't come out to family
okay,
yet.
right.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? Is that?
It's not too bad because we're not sort of a family that refer to each other a lot, I suppose. That sounds a bit strange, but we're not some people who use pronouns a lot as it is anyway. So it's not too bad. My younger sibling was the one who tried to come out to my family first, and it didn't go quite so well. So I've just held back. I've thought since I'm at uni, it doesn't really matter anyway, because I'm not around them all the time. I know I do need to, but now's not the time for that conversation. It'll happen at some point, because like I said, my group was very queer as it was anyway, so when I came out to them they were sort of like, we kind of already knew, so it wasn't difficult to do that at all.
Did you want a bit of like, I wanted a bit of a reaction from you?
yeah, I would have liked a little bit of a reaction actually. No, so that's always been fine. I know I don't have to stress about any sort of awakenings I have in the future or whatever. I don't have to worry about that because they'll always be accepted. One of my friends from back home has actually come to uni here as well with me, and she knows me already by the pronouns that I've been using. So the friends that I've met through her, she has just told them, and that is actually, it feels good to not have to do that first, because obviously if you were meeting someone who looks feminine, a lot of people would just assume that that's how you identify.
Visual bias. It's that visual bias of,
is,
they must be this type of person and must like this. And
so it's nice to not have to explain it myself. Sometimes it has felt good that was done for me. But then a lot of my friends I've met through course and things like that, and I've come out myself, and it's been fine as well. But it is, definitely, it is really nice when you have someone who already knows how you identify and they correct other people for you. It is a nice feeling having someone on your side to just make it a little bit easier.
Within the staff within the university, how's that been perceived? If you've had to give your pronouns or
I haven't had to in person yet, but it is on my email. When I put my name, I put my pronouns after it. So, but I've not had any issues with that so far, but again, people haven't really been referring to me yet, so I've not had to. But if I needed to have that conversation, I would. That would be absolutely fine. I don't get the impression that anyone would have anything other than a good reaction to it. But it took me a lot longer to come out as using it pronouns than it did using they them. I did it a lot more gradually coming out the second time round. I think I assumed that there would be a lot more negative or like tentativeness of other people from it, and I've been pleasantly surprised there hasn't been.
It's
so
great.
It's really good.
I'm just really thrilled at that it's like my own sort of perception of it has just been like completely like, oh, there we go, that's that. I don't need to worry about this anymore.
I thought it'd be a lot more difficult. With having more neutral pronouns, then obviously people get a bit stressed about what sort of terms they're meant to use referring to you. So like, is pretty okay, or do you prefer handsome and things like that? Personally, it doesn't bother me very much. I do prefer more neutral ones. but then they're not always on your mind, so like it doesn't bother me. There are certain ones that there are certain words I don't like, I suppose, certain gendered words. Like I really don't like the word daughter.
Oh, okay.
That just doesn't sit right with me. But then child still feels a bit weird because I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's about finding words that feel like they fit better. I think that's probably like a second conversation, that this is why it's important that people ask why you use certain pronouns, and then further it on with what terms do you like me using and things like that.
Yeah, it is nice when people do, admit a mistake and go, oh, I'm sorry, and then, correct it quite, effortltly without a big drama. Like, oh my God, I've said the wrong pronoun. So it's quite nice. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry, and move on from it. But a lot of people, I think, there's a fear with getting it wrong, but not learning about it or asking a question. And I know when I used to come out as gay, people would go, oh, so you're gay? And then it'd be like, so do you like this? Do you do this? And then you'd be like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah,
so do
everyone then goes off the stereotype.
Do you ever get any sort of stereotypical sort of a backlash in that sense, where you feel like you're like okay?
I do get a lot of, maybe nothing being said, but confused looks, because like I said, I don't look androgynous. I do present in quite a feminine way. People sort of trying to put the two together, that I can still look feminine and use different pronouns. But there's nothing, so there aren't as many stereotypes around it, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I did always used to like it when you saw people who identified one way but dressed a completely different way. Like, I suppose, Labyrinth with David Bowie is one of my favourite films, and I think there possibly was something there that in my mind I liked that film as much as I did, because he presents in such a different way to who he was, and then at different times as well. I don't think there's not that much non-binary representation in the media. There is a lot, but not as much as there is just general, like the community and everything. And
do you feel that needs to change or is it on the right track in terms of representation?
I think it's on the right track. I know that to other people it is really important to have those people there, and it is important, like when you watch a TV show and things like that, and someone does come up who's non-binary or agender,
and they're represented in the correct way, not the stereotypical.
Yeah, rather than just the stereotype, and that does feel really nice when you watch it. There probably isn't enough of that at the minute.
You ready? Smile, everyone.
Because I do present femininely, I am just quite used to, I sort of assume that people are just going to use feminine terms with me and pronouns. So it doesn't bother me too much, because I know that part of the reason people do that is because of how I present. And I am happy presenting femininely. So it's not too much of an issue, it's just when it is very repetitive.
We need to educate everybody, really, that comes in the university, that works at the university.
It's just nice when people don't assume straight away with gender and things like that. So if I meet someone for the first time, I automatically refer to them as they, just so that I know I'm not getting it wrong either way. Until someone then corrects me, that's what I tend to go for. And I think it would be a lot better if everyone did do that. Rather than, because it is easy to assume. It's until you meet someone who looks androgynous that then people do use they, because they don't want to get it wrong. Either way, they're still not thinking non-binary, they're still thinking, is it a girl or a boy? But they've gone for the middle ground because they can't tell. And it would just be nice if people did that across the board.
It's a step in the right direction. But society just puts us all into these boxes. They're like, oh, gay men do this, and it's like, I'll do some DIY at home and I've got a power tool out, and they go, oh, you're butch, aren't you? I'm like, well, actually, yes, I can be. So but it's all that it is. We do it in our own community now, and I think possibly, with my friends, we do it quite jovial, because we know we can with each other. And it's taking those words back, like queer. I love that we've taken that word back. So do you ever go by queer?
Queer is the term that I tend to use, just because I'd like a label there, but I don't want to give myself something more specific. It So it's nice and vague. I like the vagueness of it. It certainly feels really nice when there is a gender-neutral bathroom. So like the ones in the Student Union building, it's nice to be able to go in there and not have to decide where I'm going. Back at college, I was leader of the LGBTQ plus alliance that we had going on, and I managed to get them to change the disabled bathrooms to just be labelled as accessible instead, so that they did become more of a safe space to go. I did ask about whether we could have gender neutral bathrooms put in, but they didn't have the budget for it and everything, which I understand. But it felt really nice to be able to do something like that. Like, it's a really small change. It's literally a sign being changed on the door.
But these small things are really integral to a bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's that thing of if you can neutralise it and across, all campuses and all buildings, it's a step forward.
Definitely. No, it does just feel nice to not have to have that on your mind when you just want to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't want to then have to be thinking which bathroom should I be using. Yeah. I quite like the fact that I have the power to make a change.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's probably part of what the fact that I like my degree is as well, that I have to do something to make a change. I am certainly one of those people who likes the bit of a challenge to actually change it.
Oh, good.
And the idea that I could make an influence, that it's easier for other people who identify the same way I do in the future, the fact that I could make the world a better place for them, that's a really empowering feeling. I suppose I sort of did the same thing with the it pronouns that I did with the initial change to they as well. When I first did that, I started being she, they first, and then I went they, she, and then went they, them. So I proper transitioned myself into it.
And do you not feel like going like we do with the community and going just throwing them all in, like LGBTQIA plus?
Yeah, there is sort of a temptation there to just go by everything because it's easier. No, but that felt right. I knew as soon as I made that switch that was definitely the right choice to have done. I think in a way I possibly am a little bit gender fluid, and that it's always just going to keep changing, because it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'll have a day where I'm a bit like, no, actually I could use she, her right now, and it does really just depend on, I don't know, day of the week. But no, it felt really good to then move across to it, because there is sort of, when you change your pronouns, a little bit of guilt there, being like, am I just doing this because my friends have done it or because it's cool? But you realise that when you settle into it and when you get that little rush, like I said before, when people use the right pronouns, that it is definitely the right decision to have made.
That's good. That's good that it's so affirming and so it just feels good. You've got to have that positive reinforcement from the feeling. That's brilliant.
No, if there was something that anyone outside of the community or anyone just entering the community could do, definitely ask more questions. It's a nice conversation to have. People are scared to have that conversation because they don't want to say the wrong things, but it benefits them because they're learning more about the community as a whole and how to accept it more, and it benefits the person you're talking to as well.
Definitely.
Just because it allows you to open up. It's nice to be asked those sort of questions.
It justifies it all as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, so don't be scared is probably the most important
Be open
part.
and willing to learn about this ever-changing world.
And even if you don't understand, just still having that conversation to be on the same page as that person.
And it's okay to say you don't understand.
Yeah,
it's okay
absolutely
to say that.
it's okay to say you don't understand.
Yeah. Well, Rowan, thank you very much for your time today, and
it's been lovely.
Bracing the cold. Hope the coffee's been good. And I just want to hug you for being so brave and just being just so lovely for being yourself and sharing your experience with me and just being let me allow.
It's nice to have a chat.
Allow me to ask the questions and